Why ethanol is an excellent biofuel. My name is Molly Grace Mayock, and this is my presentation for Biology 111. What are these terms? Well, biofuels are renewable energy sources that can be directly converted into a liquid fuel, unlike fossil fuels and that such. Biofuels are important because we need this fuel for transportation. Our society is built on it. Biofuels, we know when and where they're coming from, so it's stable production, unlike fossil fuels, where we keep digging and hope there's more. Additionally, it's locally grown, so there will not be any international conflict over it. Ethanol is my chosen biofuel, and it's one you probably see every day. It's made from biomass, which again is the renewable resource. It is an alcohol due to its fermentation process, and it's a blending agent, meaning it gets mixed into the gas and it is not able to run off of just the ethanol itself. Ethanol increases octane while also cutting down on carbon monoxide and other greenhouse gases released. It is made from corn grain in the US, sugarcane in Brazil, and cellulosic feedstocks in more developed plants that have the ability to do this. These grains slash canes are traditionally easy and relatively cheap to grow, making this process so successful. Starches and sugars are made by dry milling and wet milling. Dry milling grinds this starch and sugar into flour and ferments the flour into ethanol with co-products. Wet milling separates these products prior to processing them. Cellulosic has to go through pretreatment, hydrolysis, fermentation, and then adds heat and chemicals to get a usable form of ethanol. In fermentation, yeast breaks down sugars to form pyruvate molecules, which is known as glycolysis. Glycolysis of these glucose molecules produces two molecules of pyruvic acid, and these two molecules are reduced and produce ethanol and carbon dioxide. This is an image of fermentation for people that learn better this way. In the U.S., ethanol is mostly produced in the Midwest due to the successfulness of the crop corn there, but it is mostly consumed by the East and West Coast. It's transported 90% by train or truck, 10% by barge, and only trace amounts of it are transported by pipeline. It's transported just as ethanol. The terminals or like gas stations add it to the regular gas to blend it. 14.6 billion gallons were sold in 2019, making a pretty popular product. Again, an image if you need to visualize how it's transported. Carbon footprint. 98% of all gas contains 10% ethanol, so mostly. Um, Ethanol creates 44 to 52% less greenhouse gas emissions, and 42.7 million metric tons of greenhouse gas can be reduced through the ethanol process. Carbon emission is also down 20% in fields due to increasing yields per acre and improved production in fertilizer, meaning less corn, more ethanol. While it's important to make this production green, the industry still needs to make high paying and stable jobs to continue, so the industry is not yet carbon neutral. Um, Economically, there are more than 200 plants that have created over 70,000 jobs. Many are rural, which is good. They employ farmers who may be losing to an industrializing industry. It has generated $35 billion for the GDP, funded $19 billion in household income, and does not require any special fueling equipment, meaning it can be put into regular cars and doesn't need a special like charger like Tesla. Ethanol was first used in 1826 to power an engine, first used as a blending agent in the 1920s. The process of ethanol was modernized in 1970s because of the international oil conflicts. Federal subsidies were given out in 1980s to keep producing. The Renewable Fuels Standard Law went into effect in 2005. An Energy Independence and Security Act of 2007 requires 36 billion gallons of ethanol to be produced annually. Now, the percentage of ethanol is posted on gas pumps today so that the public knows what's going in. Moving forward, it's very widely implemented now. Many consumers know what's going in. The subsidies keep encouraging production, and it's important because it keeps farmers and other people employed. But it's very harmful on the land, could be more energy efficient, and we need more plants or less transportation for less greenhouse gases emitted. If funding were not an obstacle, I would set up 3 labs, one in the Midwest, one on each coast, to test for more efficient ethanol, switch sites producing ethanol to 50% cellulosic feedstock production, and increase the number of plants in the East and West Coast, again, for less transportation. These are my resources, and if you have any questions, please email me, and thank you so much for your time.